role requires first-hand knowledge of real international working. As a successful international businessman, I have achieved many goals and made many business friends abroad. International business can rebuild the middle class by creating the infrastructure to support small businesses through economic development funds and international expansion. I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Vote for me. Send me to Washington. God bless.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
I was going to ask you, so growing up, did you ever have an old racist family in your neighborhood? Did you have one live next to you or one down the street? Just somebody's house that you know on the block, you didn't want to go nowhere near that house. The neighbor who was directly behind us had a real problem coming outside seeing my white mother and my black father.
We got us the gun line.
This dude built an 8-foot fence, more like 10 foot.
So he put up the Huck Finn joint.
Exactly. That shit looked like a castle. You know, my dad, he's a big guy, football player guy. My dad guy who walks over there.
Old school
and then
black.
he's like, yo, I don't appreciate these apples in my yard. He's like, motherfucker, we don't even have an apple tree. These are your apples.
You like apples?
Your kids are throwing apples over here. Okay, there's that little space, but there's still a fence. So they're right there looking at each other.
Tell them about the gun line, boss.
And I said something like, yeah, Dad. And that dude said, shut up, you little monkey. Leroy stuck his head over the fence.
You're gonna die, clown!
Grabbed dude by the neck.
Run.
And proceeded to pull him halfway over this fence. Like,
Finish him.
Mrs. Wheeler comes running out. Oh, Leroy, don't do that. It's not worth it. Blah, blah, blah. My dad was getting ready to kill this dude. And within 6 months, that guy moved away.
Don't cross the gun line, boss.
Right, the gun line, boss.
Chicago Famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
This secure moment is brought to you by Secure Home and Automation, your premier authorized Bring security dealer. Home invasions occur every 23 seconds, fire every 85 seconds, and medical emergencies occur suddenly. In times like these, get secured home and automation and an affordable wireless home alarm system with professional monitoring. This includes fast emergencies response, free security analysis, free equipment, and free installation. A limited time offer, be proactive. Call today, don't delay. 708-251-5069. That's 708-251-5069. Call now, 708-251-5069, or visit our website, securehomeandautomation.com. Secure Home and Automation, where your life safety is our priority. It brings authorized dealers, certain restrictions apply.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
Well, what was the power of the Bible? Most motherfuckers couldn't read. So the Bible legitimately changed the world because motherfuckers began to learn to read. And once I can learn to read, wait a minute, I can question some of this bullshit you talking
What school
about.
you go to, though?
It don't matter.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Well, no,
I went to Dunbar.
Yes!
That's how Dunbar.
Oh, it's good.
People disrespect the city schools. This Chicago. And I'm a motherfucking genius.
And it's on period.
Shout out to the mighty man. Nah, I'm just playing. But seriously though, think about it though, right? The Bible legitimately changed the world, right?
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's in It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
WIIFTVPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, here we go. What's going on? What is going on? Happy Tuesday. Is it a happy Tuesday? It's a Tuesday. I swear yesterday just felt like a Thursday. I had a concealed carry class. So, what's going on? This is Instructor Mike, and this is triggered on What's in It for the Black People Media. And we're going to talk about a few topics today. It's a pretty, I want to say, Triggered Tuesday. We're talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You know, we're going to get back on that. I had to come back. I had to come back to that topic, okay? What has she done for black people? That was a question that was asked. I just want to talk about that. You know, in the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Just want to focus on that. We're also going to talk about, I call it Domestic Relations Tuesday. Okay, Domestic Relations Tuesday, emergency orders of protection. We're going to talk about that and focus on that too. Some tips and some hints and things that might not have been taken into consideration. I'm going to trigger some people on that too. Also, I keep wanting to say Las Vegas. It's going to be Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Lost something, Lost Boys, who knows. The Louisville Metro Police Department issued a state of emergency in preparation of the decision by the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor shooting, whether or not to indict the officers in that given situation. So we're going to talk about that too. And then we're just going to open up things, kind of close it out, question and answers. So let's go on ahead and dive right into it. Shouts out to the morning show, the Maze Jackson morning show with Sonia Escobar and Ruthie Moore and Todd Stroger and, just the Lions Den. And shouts out to that. But there was a question that was posted regarding Ruth Bader Ginsburg and what has she done for black people while, there seems to be a mourning of the former Associate Justice of the Supreme Court in her passing. I mean, she held on as strong as she could until she succumbed to the issues involving, cancer in her health. And so before we even get into that question, let's break out some paper and pen and let's go on ahead and ask yourself a few questions. First of all, what are the three branches of government? Let's start with that, right? And then after the three branches of government, which one presumably is the most powerful branch? I'd argue it would be the judicial. They're the only branch that has the power to even check both the legislative and the executive. What even is the Supreme Court of the United States? What is an associate justice? How does a case make it to the United States Supreme Court? What is Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution? What's the Judiciary Act of 1789? What is Marbury v. Madison, the 1803 case? What is the Certiorari Act of 1925? If you can't answer any of those questions, then I would submit to you that what's in it for the black people is sit your ass down and get a doggone book and learn about the judiciary. That's one thing we need to learn before we can even begin to fix our mouth to say what a person on the Supreme Court has done. Say less of Thurgood Marshall, who was also an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. What do they do? What can they do in their capacity? Okay. In that, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, what did she do? Well, as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, she, like a politician, which she's not in essence, she's a jurist, she only has one vote. Okay. The court consists of 9 justices, one of whom is the Chief Justice, John Roberts, and she is but one of the 9 justices. And she only has one vote. And that vote could be what makes or breaks a case, what brings about justice, what ensures that justice is not necessarily carried out, but what ensures that the laws are in place for justice to be carried out. And so I began to do more research into Justice Ginsburg, as I knew about her, but I knew very little, like many of you watching, okay, and even listening. And so she was affirmed or confirmed to the Supreme Court, appointed by President, or nominated by President Bill Clinton, and appointed to, and confirmed by the Senate to the court. And insofar as most of us know, she was a staunch advocate for women's issues. And there was some debate about whether or not those issues led to the separation of men from, or contributed to the continuous separation of men from the home and the promotion of feminism and the independence and the streak and things of that nature. And yes, those arguments can still be had. But when we look at certain cases that she was a part of, I think that those cases are important. Certain cases, such as what was mentioned on the Mays Jackson Morning Show, the Grutter versus Bollinger, 539 U.S. 306, a 2003 case where the University of Michigan Law School, during their admissions process, we all know what affirmative action is, okay? Actions that tend to, allow certain people of a minority race, more so black folks, have the same type of access to opportunity to be able to, be in certain classrooms and participate in certain things previously denied of black people. And so you look at the University of Michigan's law school admission program giving special consideration for being of a certain racial minority and whether or not that violated the 14th Amendment due process clause under Title 42 United States Code Section 1983. You typically hear of Title 42 USC 1983 when it comes down to law enforcement cases, whether or not someone's civil rights have been violated. And so given the capacity wherein Justice Ginsburg serves, her vote, she consented with a concurring opinion that the University of Michigan's law school admissions process, allowing one to attend the law school, did not violate the 14th Amendment due process. Okay. And these votes, any case that comes out of the United States Supreme Court is the law of the land. While they do not set law in terms of the legislature, right? You got your House of Representatives, you got your senators, and then the bills go through the various processes and various committees, make it out of committee, passes in one House of Congress, gets sent over to the next, and then goes up to the governor or the president for passage into law. While they do not write law, their decisions overturn law. Their decisions make law. We call this case law. Okay. Such cases such as Roper versus Simmons, 543 U.S. 551, a 2005 case. All right. If you got juveniles that commit actions that are classified as crimes, and then you have those under the age of 18 who commit certain crimes that result in a person's death. Well, here's Roper versus Simmons, where she was a part of the concurring opinion, where the 8th and the 14th Amendment forbid the imposition of death penalty for offenders under the age of 18 at the time of the crime, and it overturned a previous ruling by the Supreme Court, the Stanford versus Kentucky case. Right? We want to talk about what she did. Her vote is just as much important as the infamous Clarence Thomas. Those of you all who know who Clarence Thomas is, a staunch conservative, and people don't like the votes that I'm not a fan of Justice Thomas either. Right? He often, if you paid attention to the Supreme Court, he and Justice Scalia, Antonin Scalia, were like twins, damn near. Right? Justice Thomas would ride on the decisions of Antonin Scalia in most of his decisions, right? And then you've got another case, the United States versus Virginia, 518 U.S. 515, 1966 Supreme Court case where the Commonwealth of Virginia excluded women from the Virginia Military Academy, and that exclusion violated the equal protection under the law with the 14th Amendment, and she wrote the majority opinion. Now, some people may ask the question, well, what does that have to do with black people? Well, if you're interested in the military, okay, and you're a resident of the state of Virginia or a resident of another state, and you seek admission into this military academy, one of the other ways by which people obtain scholarships for becoming an officer in the United States military, this is for you. May not be something that you are specifically interested in, but Justice Ginsburg wrote the majority of opinion because there was another academy that was established, and in that academy that was established, it doesn't afford the same kind of prestige as coming from the Virginia Military Academy. And so a part of those arguments was the prestige that comes with this will not be afforded to women who seek to attend this other academy. It violates the due process, the equal protection clause of the 14th Amendment. Georgia versus Randolph, 547 U.S. 103, 2006 case. How many of you have domestic violence issues? Beefs between husband and wife, and both, or boyfriend and girlfriend, more presumably husband and wife. You both are living under the same household. And so because of that beef, right, in this particular case, the wife was trying to get the child from the estranged husband. And so the police were asked to come to this residence. And so the wife admitted or made an accusation about the husband's drug use, and the husband said, no, you're the one who's using narcotics. And so the wife gave the police permission to search, but then the husband stated, no, I don't want you to search. They ended up searching anyway and found some paraphernalia which he was convicted of. And so she consented with the opinion when it got to the Supreme Court that without a search warrant, police have no constitutional right to search a house where one resident consents and the other refuses. How many of you even knew about that case? Now, there's a commenter that says if Ginsburg would have retired when Obama was the president of the United States, Trump wouldn't have this blessing to appoint at this point in time. I don't necessarily know if that's necessarily the truth, but I do know this, that during the Obama administration, there was a lot of prompting that Justice Ginsburg should have retired at that time because there was the belief that she was not of sound mind. She was not of sound body. And so if you look at the way that Justice Ginsburg ruled in her opinions, you know, one of the sharpest minds who held out as long as she could. How dare you ask someone for the sake of politics to resign from a lifetime appointment when the thing that motivated her is the very thing that should motivate us black folks? Think about it. What's in it for the Black People Media Network was started in essence because of a no, because of a you can't say this, you can't say that. How dare you say this about this? How dare you challenge the opinions? How dare you speak ill of this or that? Well, fuck that. I'm going to go ahead and start my own shit. And from that, we have this great content or other great shows that's on here. It's amazing how a no can be the spark that enables you to push past that shit and start your own yes. When she graduated out of law school, people told her no, and she said, fuck that. I'm going to create a yes. The audacity of you not to look at her struggle like she asked to be white, like she asked to be a Jew. That's what she was born as. Shit. Then you got Burgess versus Tompkins. 560 U.S. 370, 2010. Suspects who understand their rights to remain silent under Miranda and are aware that they have the right, but not explicitly invoking or waiving that right, that can be used against them. What did she do? She dissented. Now, if you understand the court, dissenting opinion is kind of like an on-the-record fuck you. It has no bearing on the case, but she stood her ground. Right? I actually tend to agree with the decision here. You understand your right under Miranda versus Arizona, another case 384 U.S. 436, right? Another case where, look, if you have the right to remain silent, but if you want to exercise that right, open up your mouth and say you want that. She didn't like that either. She dissented on that case. I tend to agree with that. Like I said, some decisions I agree with, some I don't. If you don't know anything about case law and you don't do the research, it's available. You can go to oyez.org, oya.org. That's one of the calls that, you know, historically is made when the court is in session. Okay? Burgess versus Tompkins, 560 U.S. 370, 2010. Then you have another case, McDonald versus Chicago. For all my concealed carry folk, you should know what McDonald versus Chicago is, 561 U.S. 742, another 2010 case during the 2010-2011 Supreme Court term. The right to keep and bear arms for self-defense in one's home is protected under the Second Amendment and applies to the states. What did Ruth Bader Ginsburg do? She dissented against that. I don't like that opinion, but guess what? I respect her right to dissent, right? But that was one of the cases that made it possible for concealed carry to even be possible in the state of Illinois. We were the last state in the union to even have concealed carry. And but not for the McDonald case, but not for the Heller case out of District of Columbia, we wouldn't even have concealed carry today. Don't mean y'all wouldn't be carrying guns. Y'all still be carrying shit, but still, we wouldn't even have concealed carry today. Garza versus Ohio, 586 U.S. Okay, the last part of the citation hasn't been figured in yet. It hasn't been entered into the volume, but 2019. So in this case, this is a case that definitely affects black folks when you're talking about plea agreements, convictions. So the attorney decides to file a conviction appeal, not the attorney, but the defendant, right, decides to decline the attorney declines to file a conviction appeal based on the defendant, Garza, his Alfred plea. And an Alfred plea is pretty much stating that I'm maintaining my innocence, but having looked at the evidence and under the advice of counsel, the evidence is strong enough where if a jury were to see it, they would likely convict. So it's an Alfred plea. Okay. So gets convicted, and in order for you to make a plea agreement, you have to waive appeals. You're waiving your right to make a claim of innocence. You're waiving that with your plea. But there are certain things that are still appealable. Okay. And so in that, the defendant, Garza, Rehnquist did retire. He did, for real. Garza said that he wants to appeal. His attorney declines, citing the waivers. And the other courts on appeal agree that no wrong was committed. The case was pushed up to the United States Supreme Court, and they reverse and remand the case, citing Roe versus Flores Ortega, 528 U.S. 470, a 2000 case with a Sixth Amendment right to reasonably effective legal assistance. Okay. You have that. The defendant claiming ineffective assistance of counsel pursuant to Strickland versus Washington, 466 U.S. 668. Some of you all just losing your minds just listening to the case citations, but those of you all who are interested in the law, you get it. I guess this is for you. Okay? A defendant must be able to show that the counselor's representation was deficient and that deficiency or that deficient performance prejudiced the defendant. Guess what Ruth Bader Ginsburg did? She concurred along with Chief Justice John Roberts, a conservative. You remember Brett Kavanaugh? Mr. I like beer. Mr. Some of you all saw the Supreme Court confirmation and was talking about how could a person like Brett Kavanaugh even be appointed to the Supreme Court with all of his skirmishes and all of his things that he's done in his past? Well, guess who also consented with that opinion that helped in that legislation? Brett Kavanaugh. See, if you don't know anything about the courts, you're asleep on what some people do. Actually, if you look at the Supreme Court, Chief Justice John Roberts is considered to be the swing justice. He's considered to be the swing justice. It depends on the issue. Kind of like your Sandra Day O'Connor. She was considered to be the swing justice. She could be conservative on some things and liberal on the others. I like beer too. You silly. How about Flowers? Flowers versus Mississippi. In this case, I'm going to look this up because it was too much for me to even take notes on. What they did to Curtis Flowers, we're gonna discuss this when we come back from the break, okay? So just hang on, get your pens and papers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Trigger Instructor Mike.
WIFTVPM.
He is joining Chicago famous because he is born and raised in the city of Chicago. He is famous. He is Chicago famous. Mr. Rick Party. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's happening for the show started?
Ricky!
So I had to figure out at that point, what am I going to do with my life? I would listen to the radio. Earl Boston was a radio personality, and I would call in all the time and ask him, hey, can you make a dedication to my girlfriend? Every day I would call him. He said, well, why are you calling me every day at 10 o'clock? You're supposed to be in school. I said, I'm sick, man. He said, be honest, man, tell me the truth. But this man taking the time to talk to me on the other end of the phone every day, making dedications to my girlfriend who's in school while I'm out, that just inspired me just as a street kid, living, from Inglewood, Inglewood and Cabrini Green,
Right.
Back and forth.
Chicago famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I'm running for U.S. Senate for the state of Illinois. I will never give up on inclusion and equality, prison reform, reduced property taxes, and economic opportunity for all. I want to get to know your neighborhood and the problems that you face every day. And I want to serve every man, woman, and child in the state of Illinois. A vote for me is a vote for you.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Senate 2020.
What's up, good people? Make sure you ascend into Muwakil's world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Salim Muwakil, a.k.a. the Black Forrest Gump, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
We fun guy.
What's tomorrow?
Fun guy, what's up, baby?
What it do, baby?
Yeah, yo, what do you know?
You know what I'm saying? So I'll be telling you.
What's going on, Chicago? What's in it for the Black People Media presents?
I want to go higher. Oh my God.
Call your sons, call your daughters, call your friends, call your neighbors.
The Big Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin. We got what you need right here on What's in it for the Black People Media.
WIIFTBPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown them? Then crown their ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we're back. We're back with Trigger with Instructor Mike. I am your host, Instructor Mike. We have been previously talking about the Ruth Bader Ginsburg question. What has she done for black people? And so those of you all watching by YouTube, just go on and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. Those of you all watching by Facebook, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Maze Jackson page and hit those stars for support of What's in It for the Black Media Network. Okay, those stars are what help support great content, great content. Okay, shouts out to I Said What I Said, Herb Howard at Tucson Warner, Chicago Famous with Mike Love and Diz, Book of Dawn. Okay, just great content. All right, here we go. So let's dive right into it. You know, we're talking about Flowers versus Mississippi, 588 U.S. Last part of that citation still being decided what volume is going to be placed in. It's a 2019 case. And the facts of this case, I'm gonna read this. Man, you want to talk about jury selection and preemptory challenges during voir dire, which is jury selection. Okay. The preemptory challenges that tend to exclude black jurors from these type of cases. And this was a capital murder case in 1996. Okay, 4 employees of the Tardy Furniture Store in Winona, Mississippi were killed during an armed robbery. Curtis Giovanni Flowers was tried for the murder of one of the employees, okay, and was convicted and sentenced to death. The Mississippi Supreme Court reversed and remanded for a new trial. So let me explain reverse. Obviously, reversing is just reversing of the conviction, and remanding of a case is when the case gets sent back down to the Supreme Court or even to the lower courts for actions not inconsistent with that opinion. In other words, try again, you messed up, do something different. Okay. So the case was reversed and remanded back to the Mississippi Supreme Court for a new trial on the grounds that Flowers' rights to a fair trial had been violated by the omission of evidence of the other 3 murder victims. Flowers, in the state of Mississippi, was tried and convicted for the murder of a second victim of the same incident, and the Mississippi Supreme Court reversed and remanded on the same grounds. As if that wasn't enough, on a third trial, Flowers was tried for all 4 murders, and a jury found him guilty and sentenced him again to death. Finding that prosecutor Doug Evans had engaged in racial discrimination during the jury selection, or what's otherwise known as voir dire, the Mississippi Supreme Court again reversed and remanded. The 4th and 5th trials were on all 4 counts of capital murder, and both resulted in mistrials when the jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict during the guilt phase. In the 6th trial, Flowers was tried again and convicted of all 4 murders. Flowers appealed his conviction on several grounds, one of which the state violated his 6th and 14th Amendment rights during jury selection process by exercising its preemptory strikes in a racially discriminatory way. And the Mississippi prosecution had struck 5 African-American prospective jurors. The Mississippi Supreme Court rejected Flowers' arguments as to the jury selection, but the U.S. Supreme Court ordered the court to reconsider in light of its ruling in favor of Foster versus Chapman, 578 U.S. It was a 2016 case where it held that the defendant in a capital case had shown intentional discrimination in the selection of jurors. On remand to the state Supreme Court, the court again upheld its ruling for the state, and Flowers again sought review by the Supreme Court, and the court granted certiorari. Remember, I just said, the Certiorari Act of 1925, pretty much stating that, of all the cases that the Supreme Court gets before the court, they don't take every case. They are selective in which cases they take, and this one was one where they had to take. And who read the opinion for the court may surprise you. Okay, so. The court granted certiorari as to the question whether the Mississippi Supreme Court erred in how it applied Batson versus Kentucky. So for those of y'all who don't know what Batson versus Kentucky is, the citation is 476 U.S. 79, 1986. 1986 Supreme Court case that said that during preemptory strikes, so you've watched courtroom dramas, okay? You've seen, juries impaneled where pretty much, the voters of the county come to a room and then they go to a court room, and then the judge and the defense attorney, as well as the prosecution for the government, they get to ask certain questions based upon the facts that they know of the case and how they want the jury to be impaneled, or how the mood and speed of the jury that they would like to decide both guilt and innocence. And each side has preemptory strikes that they can use against a juror, depending upon the agenda or the defense or the prosecution, how they want the case to be driven, the mindset of the case. And so often you would have where in cases where there are black defendants, you would want a all-white jury, or that's what they would want at the time. And so you would have a lot of black jurors who were seen to be sympathetic or even empathetic to a black person's cause being tried for a crime in May, as what took place in the O.J. Simpson case, right? Let's talk about that, right? As what took place in the O.J. Simpson case, you may have an O.J. Simpson where this person, the evidence literally supports that he did this, but certain things within how the case was, put together and how the evidence was collected leads to the possibility of there being some corruption within that. And one jury even expressed that they voted not guilty because, it's time for a black person to receive justice. And of all the people you could have that happen towards, why O.J. Simpson? Shit. But whatever, he was famous. Okay, so not to digress. Batson versus Kentucky, the preemptory challenges where it becomes illegal against the Constitution to exclude black jurors from the case solely on the basis that they're black, and that alone. So the question before the court is, did the Mississippi Supreme Court err in how it applied Batson versus Kentucky in this case? And the conclusion is the trial court committed clear error when they, during the state's preemptory strikes, when they excluded a particular black prospective juror, and that it was motivated on the basis of race. I mean, 44 black prospective jurors, and they excluded 42. Like, just over and over again. And guess who was a part of the vote in that opinion? It was a 7-2 decision, Justice Ginsburg. And not only Justice Ginsburg, Brett Kavanaugh, one of the newer justices on the Supreme Court, as well as Chief Justice John Roberts. So when we talk about that, and in fact, if you go to oyez.org and you listen to, it allows you to listen to on your smartphone, your computer, you can listen to the opinion announcement. Brett Kavanaugh is reading it. He's reading it. Not a happy camper when it comes down to his belief about this decision, because they had tried him so many times and tried to convict him, and they excluded the black jurors just over and over again. So if you're in Mississippi, you're fucked. Maybe. I don't know. MISS, ISS, IPPY, don't go there. So just in answering the question, what did Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it's just so many cases, just too many. I started doing more. I stopped writing. It's just too much. When we look at such a question such as what did Ruth Bader Ginsburg do for black people? If you don't know about the law, or you don't know about the criminal justice system, and you're only angry, by right, you may have a reason, but you're only angry at the effects of what you're feeling as a result of the injustice that you feel may have been, cast upon you. may need to ask yourself, did you get a crappy attorney? Did your crappy attorney not know some of these case laws to be able to cite in court under the doctrine stare decisis, which is to stay the opinion of the previous court and uphold that? Right? Article 3, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. That's what established the Supreme Court of the United States. So how much power was Ruth Bader Ginsburg supposed to wield over the actions and the derivative effects or the direct effects of what occurs when black people go through the justice system? Just what more is she supposed to do? And when I think about a question that was posed like that, I often think about former President Barack Obama. What the fuck did you think Obama was supposed to do? The chief executive of the executive branch. He doesn't write law. He only executes the laws that are written. He may have an agenda, but he can only do so much as the executive, considered to be one of the most powerful people in the world. Why? Because he has complete emergency command of the world's most powerful and violent military. That's it. And Ronald Reagan even said it best. The problem with people and how they see government is when they want the government to do more for them than they do for themselves. So what the fuck did you expect him to do? Whose fault is it that you expected him to be your proverbial black Moses? To deliver you from the proverbial Egypt that your ass may be putting yourself through. See, that's that conversation we don't want to have. If you couldn't answer any of these questions that I posed before I even began talking about the likes of a Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the likes of a Sandra Day O'Connor, hell, do you even know who Justice Earl Warren is and the Warren Court? Do you know that during the civil rights movement, that your Mapp versus Ohio, your Tennessee versus Gardner, all that happened during the Warren Court? Maybe not the Tennessee versus Gardner, but the Mapp versus Ohio and the Miranda versus Arizona and some of the decisions that came out of the Warren Court. Do you even know what? I don't see you all questioning that shit. But how dare you posthumously speak on the life of someone just because you didn't do your fucking research? What's in it for the black people better be a fucking book. LeVar Burton tried to sit there and tell you to take a look. How the blind man from Star Trek open his eyes and tell your ass to look into something that you won't even damn look into? Get me started on this shit. I'm just saying. And just because we're under this COVID-19 stuff, that's not an excuse. Don't sugarcoat that because you'll eat that lied donut too. Let's move on. Rest in peace, Justice Ginsburg. Rest in peace. You had the power, the audacity, the tenacity to do what some people wouldn't even dream of doing, and that's stick shit out. You had people trying to convince you to get out of office because they thought you were senile. They thought you were getting old and withering away. Some of our marriages and relationships and friendships don't even last the test of time, but somebody's got a doggone opinion about how long you should stay. You finished your fight. Instead, what should be in it for the black people is to take a look at how you turned that no into a yes. And whatever your agenda was, you stood by it and stuck by it. Now, what should we do? Say less of the fact that we stopped trying when death became less. Yeah, I'm triggering the shit out of you now. Or maybe not. Who the fuck knows? I just want us to do better. I want us to do better. Speaking of doing better, let's talk about Domestic Relations Tuesday. Right? Emergency orders of protection. Talk about that. Why do I talking about emergency orders of protection? Because these are the things that, I teach concealed carry. Shouts out to Marcus Darby, Black Matrix Firearms Instruction. What's going on, buddy? I see you on there. Okay, you're looking for good concealed carry training. No, you don't have to just come to me. I'm humble. I share the love, right? Okay, but one of the things that tends to get in the way of, you know, people obtaining their concealed carry license, I get the constant calls, I get the inboxes. Shouts out to Tucson. Damn it. I get the calls, I get the messages where I got a domestic battery conviction, right? Can I get my concealed carry? I you know, those of you all who have followed me before I even came onto this wonderful network, you know, you've heard about my stories and heard about the, you know, issues regarding domestic, parental alienation. That's also part of domestic relations and, you know, orders of protection and things like that. I want you to understand that it's very important that you heal from the wounds on the inside, because they serve as the motivations for the things that we do as adults. And one of the things that we do when obviously you're in a relationship and the guy wants to walk out, it shouts out again to Tucson Warner. And, you know, I said what I said. I watched you guys show when you guys were talking about, you know, domestic relations and, you know, choosing and dating and things like that. That was a great show. But then there's the other side of that in dating, when you pick the wrong person, or when you may not realize that you're the wrong person, or when you got deep-seated issues on the inside that you haven't dealt with, when you're partnering with someone because of the insecurities of the self that you haven't addressed. And you need this person, not because you need this person because you want them. You need this person because you don't protect yourself. You need this person because you don't provide for yourself. And that motivation right there, which causes you to get with this person when responsibility kicks in, when differences of opinion kick in, when human conflict kicks in, and this person wants to walk out, this man wants to walk out because he may understand he has a propensity to violence and he sees himself getting triggered and he wants to walk out, and you grab him by his shoulder and say, hey, don't walk out, don't go anywhere, don't do this, don't do that. Or you begin to attack each other on the things that you told each other in secret, the things you told each other in confidence, and you begin to stab at each other. Well, you are mama's boy, you are daddy's boy, you are this, you are that. You're stabbing at each other and you begin to walk away. But then that hurt. Don't you walk away from my life. Don't you walk away from this. Don't you walk away from that. Or maybe you were abused as a child and you carry that over and you abuse the girl that you're with, or whatever the case may be. Emergency orders of protection, I'm going to tell you, they are important. So are orders of protection. They're important too. But there's another side of that that doesn't get talked about. What happens when you are the person who walked away, when you are the person who tried to be the bigger person in walking away from certain situations, and maybe that didn't work, or maybe you got with a person who you might have hurt and they decide they want to use that order of protection as a weapon against you. Yeah, that could definitely block your concealed carry license. Oh yeah. As soon as you get that order of protection, your concealed carry license is suspended and your FOID card, your FOID card, is revoked. So we're going to talk about how to defeat that shit. Triggered. Ladies, you going to be mad now. Here we go. The minute you get served with that emergency order of protection, and by the way, cooler heads prevail. If he wants to walk out, let him walk away. That doesn't mean he's walking away forever, or maybe he needs to. Who knows? But when you get served with that emergency order of protection, yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to hurt, especially if you know you didn't do it, right? But you need to go to the court reporter's office. Take that paperwork and go to the court reporter's office. If you are in Cook County, those of you all who are watching in Cook County, the address is 69 West Washington, Suite 900. That's right, giving it away. 6900 West Washington, Suite 900. Don't ask me how I know. I know, okay? And you need to go and get the court-ordered or the court transcript. Why do you need to get that transcript? Because you don't understand the order of protection process. So emergency orders of protection are pursued after and are authorized ex parte. In other words, the other person toward whom the order of protection is going to affect, they don't have to be in court. So this person, woman, whatever, triggering you, right, can go in there and literally test a lie. You know, that time where she might have been aggressive and you were trying to walk away and all of a sudden she didn't let you walk away and she put her hands on you and you might have been the victim in that circumstance, but she went in with her Shirley Caesar wig, lace front, and she went in with her church clothes with the truffles and she was singing all to the just, he's an on time God. Yes, he is. You know, went in with the tears and stuff and give me 1 minute, Judge. And you get that order of protection. That's because there's a lie somewhere in that. Because you're not in court to trigger that, hey, you better tell the truth before I show this evidence. And so you need to go get that court transcript. Why? Because whatever she testified to, or he, goes both ways, right? It's under oath. And you need to spot the lie. So that 21 days down the road, when it comes down to the plenary hearing, that is the hearing where there is evidence by the preponderance of the evidence. Okay? The evidence by the preponderance of the evidence. Right? Not the late. You know it's going to happen, right? Because the presentation is not the reality. They ain't see the side slob that came out the mouth and you got hit in the face. They ain't see that shit, right? But that the plenary hearing, that's what happens in 21 days. Okay, so you need to let the court reporters know that you need an expedited rush because it's for a plenary hearing. If you got to pay extra, get that. I'm telling you, the secret is in that. Okay, you need to spot the lie in that, because that is what's going to be what you can use in court to show that under oath she lied, he lied. And so if this is a matter where it's pretty much, preponderance of the evidence, 51% standard, that is more likely than not the emergency order of protection was issued under false pretenses. She lied under oath. So if she lied under oath in this hearing, how can we trust her word and that's a very legitimate argument. That's a very legitimate argument. Also, here's another thing too. Guys, ladies, if you could use this phone for the police, you could use this phone to obtain evidence. Okay? I want you to understand that the minute I'm giving you tips and hints to protect yourself. Okay, it's not the truth that sets you free. It's the proof of the truth that sets you free. Shouts out to Power. How many of y'all just got through watching the episode where you see Method Man playing an attorney? I wasn't sold that he was right and ready, but he's right and ready. He's good, right? It's not about what happened. It's about what you can prove in court. Okay, so the minute you see a situation get hostile, the minute you see that there's a possibility that hands are going to be placed, you need to go on ahead and press record on that phone, okay? This evidence is allowed to be used in court. And if a person knows that they are being recorded, one of two things are going to happen. Either they're going to act as they would normally act, or they're going to go on ahead and just leave it alone, walk away, and you might have saved yourself from an encounter. And get you an outer box. Protect your iPhone. Protect your neck, okay? But get you an outer box to protect it. I'm just telling you, okay? I'm telling you from experience, because the deck is stacked against men in domestic relations court. 555 West Harrison. Shout out to the Devil's Playground. 555 West Harrison. Okay. Now there are some bona fide victims of domestic violence, but then there are those who seek to use the domestic violence victims or the domestic violence advocacy system to their benefit. There are those who seek to use that. And I'm a staunch advocate for people protecting themselves. Equal rights, equal fights. You keep your hands to your doggone self, both sides. You don't put your hands on him. You don't put your hands on her unless it's in a loving or an accepting manner. But I am a staunch advocate against using that system for one's own benefit because you're hurt, because you're mad, because you made bad choices and you don't want to face up to the fact that you made those bad choices. And in the midst of that, our black men can't be the protectors they need to be because, among other things, your ass was too hurt to deal with the damn issues. Tea. Sip it. Okay. Here we go. Next, when those situations happen, okay, you need to gather all your evidence and be able to appeal to the Illinois State Police, because you're going to have to get your cards back, right? And then once you appeal to the state police, it's going to take some time, right? But the best appeal is just like the ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Stay the fuck away. Heal yourself. Heal yourself. We are going to continue to talk about this, okay? And I am going to show videos and things like that of the time, not this time, but maybe Thursday or maybe next Domestic Relations Tuesday, you know, of the time where I'm at a gun rights advocate, a gun rights hall, if you will. We're talking about gun rights. And this gentleman came in and did a whole presentation on domestic violence, said very little about what men are affected by as it relates to domestic violence. Very little about that. And I tend to have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because while it is true that women are the victims of domestic violence, men are too. They just don't report it as often because of how it's seen. Or you can't handle a woman, or you can't handle this, or you can't handle that, right? And even when they do try to report it, how many of them actually go through with it? You don't file the case because you're worried about your baby mama and you're worried about this and how the optics of how this looks and how that looks. Look, when it comes down to your criminal record, chivalry is dead. When it comes down to your protection, chivalry is dead. Okay? I've been to plenty of autopsies where men have been killed by their women. Okay? You don't even have to be a homicide detective to go through that. Just watch Snapped. Okay? I'm just saying. How long are we going to continue to allow this to last? Okay? So follow the instructions that I've told you. Okay. First of all, stay away. Okay. Heal yourself. It's okay to be alone. But in the event that stuff happens, get the court report, have your evidence. Okay. Illinois Rule of Evidence, I believe, is 601, allows you to be able to use that evidence to impeach. Okay. To impeach that testimony. Okay. And if you have any other issues regarding that, again, love to be able to talk to you. We are going to go on ahead and push for a break. Okay. We're going to go ahead and go to break. And when we come back, Louisville, I almost said Las Vegas again. Almost said, I got it this time. Louisville Metro Police Department issues a state of emergency before the grand jury releases their decision about the Breonna Taylor incident. Yeah, Tucson, you better hang around. Shouts out to Tucson and Herb. I said what I said. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Instructor Mike and Triggered.
WIFTBPN.
This secure moment is brought to you by Secure Home and Automation, your premier authorized Bring security dealer. Home invasions occur every 23 seconds, fire every 85 seconds, and medical emergencies occur suddenly. In times like these, get secured home and automation and an affordable wireless home alarm system with professional monitoring. This includes fast emergencies response, free security analysis, free equipment, and free installation. A limited time offer, be proactive. Call today, don't delay. 708-251-5069. That's 708-251-5069. Call now, 708-251-5069, or visit our website, securehomeandautomation.com. Secure Home and Automation, where your life safety is our priority. It brings authorized dealer, certain restrictions apply.
When you need vibrant, colorful gear that offers high-performance material that keeps you cool, call Agent Huff Custom Gear. Let us take your expressions and create something new for your everyday wear, your bedroom, or bath. For all your needs, we offer custom sublimation, silkscreen, vinyl, and embroidery. You can reach us on all things social at Superhero Huff. www.superherohuff.com or 630-476-9191.
Are you curious to explore the intellectual currents that channel our thoughts and frame our reality? Have you ever meditated for relaxation and accidentally discovered the universe in the process? These matters and many more you may never have even thought of will be yours to explore as you come with me into Muwak Hill's world. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
WIFTBPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown your ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown. Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
All right, we're back with Trigger with Instructor Mike. I am your host, Instructor Mike. Don't forget to like Facebook. Like Facebook. Like the Facebook page, Maze Jackson page. Go on ahead and like it and hit the stars to support great content. What's in it for the Black People Media Network. Also, if you're on YouTube, go on ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications when this show and other great content comes on. With the Bigs, with Mike Love and Diz and Chicago Famous, the Maze Jackson Show every Monday through Friday, 6 to 9. You know, I said what I said with Herb, Howard, and Tucson Warner. Okay. Great content, differences of opinion, all great, all necessary, all needed, all shat. Just keep going. Just keep going. All right. Louisville Metro Police Department issues a state of emergency in anticipation of the grand jury decision in the Breonna Taylor shooting death. Local officials expect a decision and potential demonstrations as early as this week. According to the, where is this? I want to make sure I quote it right. The Daily News out of New York. The Louisville Metro Police Department said Tuesday it would place barricades around the Jefferson Square Park, restrict vehicle access, and they don't know when the Attorney General will make the announcement, but the LMPD is taking the following actions to ensure the area is safe as possible for those coming downtown to express their First Amendment rights, as well as those who live, work, and in the area. So, okay, let's just go ahead and cut right through it. They are going to issue a no true bill. You heard me say it, folks. I'm a betting person, not all the time, but if I was a betting person, they're going to issue a no true bill. No true bill is pretty much, we're not going to indict. Those of you all may say, yeah, I don't know about it, but there's evidence. No, there's not. We already talked about that. We're going to cover that. I don't know how many of you all remember 2014, Ferguson, Mike Brown. Mike Brown having been shot by Ferguson police officer or former Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson, okay? And in St. Louis County, the grand jury returned a no true bill of indictment. In other words, they did not indict Darren Wilson for the shooting death of Mike Brown. So let's talk about it. If you look, and I urge you to Google it for yourself, the pictures of the autopsy performed by the family. Okay, the family's forensic pathologist performed the autopsy, and you see the striations and the marks on the arms, you know, and the shot in the eye and the shot in the head and the trajectory or the pathway which those rounds were shot. And so you know the narrative, hands up, don't shoot, right? Well, as a firearms instructor and as a person, you know, versed in firearms and ballistics and the study of that, why am I going to shoot for the arms if the arms are up? That makes no sense. It's an object that can clearly fall, clearly be moved. Why not just aim for the larger area where most of the organs keep that body alive, and that's the torso? But very little to no shots were there in the torso. And so if you look at the evidence, not the narrative, but the evidence that was there, the evidence supported a no true bill of indictment for Darren Wilson in that case, but that didn't stop St. Louis County from going up. St. Louis County and the city of Ferguson, and arguably cities all across the nation, went up in rioting and protesting in the wake of that decision. So, my question to you is, look at the rioting that we just had happen. Okay? Look at that rioting. Look at the black-owned businesses that were destroyed. And we're going to focus on that. We're not going to focus on downtown, even though that should be the topic or the focal point of discussion, because we already know downtown's going to go up for grabs. But what are you, black business owners, going to do in the wake of this decision? Because if insanity is repeating the same action and expecting a different outcome, what is emotional insanity? Why are these actions continuously being repetitious? And what are we expecting is going to be the outcome that's any different from what we already know is going to happen? In this case, I don't care how much you want justice, it's not going to happen in this case. This was a search warrant of a beautiful and otherwise troubled young lady that went bad because her boyfriend admittedly shot at who he thought were home invaders. He was right in shooting. I would have shot. You knock on my door and kick off the hinges, I'm throwing this lead your way. But if you're the police and you shoot at me, well, then that's what you're supposed to do. We're supposed to shoot at each other. It happens. And she is in the way and gets hit. Now, you can say sounds about white all you want. You can say it sounds about white all you want. Well, I'm going to sit here and say it's not white, it's real. Saying something 1,000 times is not the same thing as doing it once. And just because you own a gun and go to the range don't mean you combat forged. Don't mean you ready. Because it all changes when you staring down the barrel of a doggone gun. Kenneth did what he felt he had to do to protect himself and protect Breonna. And that's part of the problem. If you want peace, prepare for war. Those of you all who are carrying firearms, you're ready to shoot some shit until lead comes in back in your direction. Now you want to talk about fucking fairness. No such fairness when it comes down to the discharging of a pistol because people do what they do. They need to survive. And so in that given situation, Kenneth did what he felt he had to do. But the unintended consequence was Breonna Taylor and her losing her life. Because how many of y'all say in the hood, bullets don't have a name? Bullets aren't magical anvils of Hephaestus where they just sit here, wrong person, turn around and find a different direction. No, they go in the direction that they go in. And if you understood like I do as a police trainer, 25% of what cops aim at, they actually hit. You wouldn't know that because you only see the hits. You don't know the misses. 25%. 25%. Oh, I invite you to go to the doggone range with me on qualification day. You'll see how many times I got to sit there and go through the, what are you doing? That's not what you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to be aiming that gun in that right direction. Get your thumb from back there. Put your finger here. Do this, do that. And that's not every police department, but that is some. Actually, it's more than half. Probably a little more than half. A little more than the half of the half that it's more than. You get what I'm saying. So what are you going to do? You're going to put your Black Lives Matter signs on the window and expect that to be the Negro kryptonite? Oh, shit. Now Black Lives Matter. Let's put it on there and hope that they don't sit there and destroy our fucking eyelash stand or lace front bunt, whatever. And if that's your business, I love it. Whatever. I'm just saying, what are you prepared to do? Because there are some people out there that just don't give a shit about your sign. They want to destroy property because they're angry. Guarantee you they're not going into Bridgeview and do that. Guarantee you they're not going into Bridgeport and do that. Guarantee you, based upon the last riot, they definitely not going into the Hispanic community to do that because 2-6 and all that up, they standing up. You will find your ass on the floor dead. Oh, we going to go over there and ride up on them. You don't want that. You don't want that smoke. You don't want that Sinaloa coming in. You don't want that. You don't want those problems. But stay your ass where you are. So what are we going to do in the wake of that decision? Is Chicago going to go up? Are we going to destroy the black businesses? Am I going to have to see an 80-year-old woman come to me again and ask me, baby, where am I going to get my medicine? Are we going to fuck our own people's shit up? Come on. No, you say, fuck, we're going to go downtown. We're going to go downtown and do that. Right? I'm sure you paid attention. If you haven't, these cameras have gotten better. Every last one of you all that have been out there looting and rioting, now you got a case and you want to talk about school to prison pipeline when your ass was in Nordstrom trying to pick up some shoes your ass can't halfway fit, trying to sell it to somebody who will dime your ass out after you sell that shoes. Now, somebody who strategically commented and said, BLM, Mike, are you aware that Black Lives Matter ain't for us black people? Wrong crowd. You ain't said that shit during the Jason Van Dyke thing. They used the shit out of an agenda. You ain't said nothing during that time. Now it's the wrong crowd. Oh no, say nothing of the fact that you let white people take what was a legitimate cause in certain respects and infuse themselves based on your anger, got you to fuck your shit up, and then went on to the suburbia and dared your ass to step on their place and do the same shit that you did. Because guess what, fucker? You got to still eat. Your baby still need Pampers. Grandma still need her medicine. Oh, shit. You didn't think about that. But you going to go over and take somebody else's resource. No. That's not happening. So what are we going to do in the wake of this decision? Because I'm telling you, it's going to be a no true bill. And even if it is a true bill, there isn't enough evidence, according to the proof beyond a reasonable doubt, a 95% standard, that with malice aforethought, that one, she was not the target of the raid. She was every much the target of the raid. She did not deserve death. She should not have been killed, but she got killed. So the wrongful death lawsuit, check that box. They're going to have to pay out anyway. But the criminal, there is no justice to be had in this. What is the justice for us? Say less of the fact of the conditions that probably existed inside of her home that made it possible for her to even choose to get into that lifestyle when she had a good job as an emergency medical technician serving the people that need emergency medical help in our communities. Say less of that. Say less of that. Say less of that. Repeating the same action and expecting a different outcome. Mom, eyeballs on me right freaking now. This is when drill instructor from the military is coming out. Freaking eyeballs on me right now. You understand that, CI, sir? Eyeballs on me right now. When are you going to have that conversation with your kids and make those admissions about the shitty past that you had to save them from a past? Maybe if you sat there and taught that shit in the wake of this, maybe they wouldn't spend so much time burning the village down. But while you're sitting here saying it takes a village to raise a child, and you want the police that don't live in your village to be a part of that village, you forgot the other African proverb, a child not embraced by the village. You remember that time when your child came home and told you somebody was messing with them, and you decided because you were too busy chasing the dick, you didn't want to chase dick, who was making fun of that child, and your child got raped or your child got messed with because you were too busy, you were too consumed with your issues and your baby daddy, or the fact that you couldn't solve the problems with him, so you look just like your damn daddy. And you're not dealing with the issues and raising our children the way they need to be raised. You're too busy dealing with that. But then when they go out there and commit crimes, now you want to hold them responsible for the shit that you were assisting in, that you made that possible. Child came home with bad grades, and instead of understanding that they can't learn at school because the home life is fucked up, the home life that you had a responsibility to help to create, that's a part of that village within those fucking four walls. But you too busy consumed with your bullshit, and you not making admission or repentance for the things that caused you to be the way that you are. And so that's the first village that burns down, and now you want to sit here and blame the fucking police as if they gonna change. How about that? How about make that let's talk about it night? How about you tell them about, hey, baby girl, you were the rebound, baby. Let's explain. Oh, shit, I was running from something, and I sat there and created you, your brother, and your sister. Or maybe you don't have ADHD, but I wanted to check. Oh, don't make that admission. Maybe I told you all the things negative in your life because I was in so much pain. No wonder you became the thing that I spoke that life into you. I spoke that into you when you came home with those bad grades, instead of sitting here and advocating for myself so that I can be a better parent to you, so we can create this home life so you don't have to get sent to Principal O'Shaq Hennessy's office, or so that you don't have to be in Saturday detention, so that you don't have to be in this and don't have to be in that. Instead of advocating for those issues, I whooped your ass because I really thought that you were messing up in school, when in fact maybe the teacher wasn't teaching you appropriately. But I didn't have the knowledge to be able to assess what she knew to assess what she didn't know. Maybe instead of being a part of that local school council, I'm trying to be a part of that local area dick. Yeah, I went there. I don't give a shit. I'm giving shit. I'm going there. I'm going there. Because before it's the police, it's your parents. Before it's the teachers, it's your parents. You could be a good person and be a shitty parent too. That's the shit that got me in trouble. Put food on the table, clothes on your back, a roof over your head, pot to piss in, and a window to throw it out of. You have not. You ain't gonna tell. You not gonna challenge me. When an adult is speaking, you shut up. And that's why they don't tell your ass shit. Because when it's time for them to speak, you don't listen. You don't embrace the children you brought into this world. And so what do? They return the favor by fucking the village that fucked them the best. Visceral. Feel that shit. Because it's about time. And I'm going to keep on infusing this every time as long as I got a voice. Because until we unfuck the fuckery that is going on inside of our homes, our children are going to become adults that's going to still do the same damn thing over and over again. Call me what the fuck you want. I don't care. We got to fix it. And if you're not willing to make the admission, then that's why there needs to be a parental accountability bill. That for everything your child does, you catch the sentence too. Oh, shit. For every F your child brings home, that's $100 less from your link. Damn. You ain't going to be selling that. Guaranteed you're going to be at the local school council. Oh, see, if the government really wanted you to be involved in your kid's life, they know how to get you, just like they know how to trigger you. They know how to get you. Oh, shit. Why would we tie your benefits of taking care of your kids to your behaviors of how your children act if we don't benefit from their negative actions? You got so many people on so many different platforms talking about the correctional center is a business. The correctional industries is a business. Right? The prison to school pipeline. They need people to build these buildings in California, fight these fires, make these cabinets and these things. I used to be a corrections officer. Industry is one of the most heavily sought out jobs in the correctional center. One of the most heavily sought out and lucrative jobs too. Pays better than any of the other job in there. Why is it heavily sought out though? Because they know that they profit from your labor. They know that your parents ain't gonna teach you shit. So we gonna wait till you get here so we can teach you, so we can benefit and make pennies on the dollar from your labor. And you don't see a problem with that? You don't see a problem with that? Is not telling your child about your past to save them from the past. Is that not what's in for the black people? Is it for the fact that you had children because you needed friends that's going to keep you from making those admissions? Contrary to popular belief, you got people who sit here and talk about, well, why the Hispanic community is doing this. Look, Superintendent McCarthy and what's this guy? Eddie Johnson. They have been opening up this whole come be the police, come be the police, be a part of the change that you wish to see. Hispanics jumped on that shit. Black folks, fuck 12. Well, they not responding to your calls, so who the fuck is? Not your mama, not your daddy. She filed a charge against his ass and he can't carry a gun. Oh shit. How about that? Say nothing of the fact that I'm going to get stereotypical here, so I'm going to trigger some folks. Say nothing of the fact that you put 10 of them in a house making $10 an hour. That's $100 an hour. Times that by 8, that's $800 a day. While you sitting here, I almost said something. While you sitting, can I say it? While you're sucking and fucking for 40, they making $800 in a day. I hate my mouth sometimes. And you times that by 5, times that by 2. Rent's been paid in one day, and you sitting here worried about, baby, got the pair of shoes, gonna pay the light bill due, waiting on my next paycheck.
Work it out.
I'm telling you. You can sit here and talk about all this stuff and believe all you want to instead of putting shit into action, and you'll be believing all day because they benefit off of your, oh, Jesus. I look. You better stop that bitching and get your ass up and start doing some doggone work. our ancestors fought and died too hard to give us the right of access for you to be asleep on this bullshit. What are you going to do in the wake of these riots? Are you willing to stand out in front of your business? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to stand? Imagine if the whole block stood out in front of their businesses, in front of their houses, and said, we willing to die to protect our shit. We don't want you destroying it. And we understand we need to put in the work to make things better, but you're not about to fuck it up again. You're not about to do it. Just imagine if the whole block did that. If all of our businesses did. What the fuck is a Black Lives Matter sign when your matter don't move? Get your ass out there and do something physically to stop this shit. That's the reason why they get away with it, because they know they can. Because all you gonna do is somebody pray for me. They have me on their mind. Not their mind, they mind. We're going to break. I done pissed y'all off. Go get something to drink. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM. Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, or you can find them online at solobeauty.com.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
You'll never breed a warrior.
Warriors, come out to play.
Shh, you hear that? And that's what's happening at every angle. They're creating paradigms where we can only raise feminine men.
Yes.
Whether they're homosexual or not, they feminine as shit.
Sure, because all masculinity is toxic.
All masculinity is toxic in a war-torn society where the dominant society is saying to your ass, we don't never want no warriors.
Right.
You bastards. Any book you've ever read, you can read the Bible, goddammit. Yeah. When they go and they destroy some shit, they kill all the boy babies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even want you growing up to think you're going to do some shit to me.
Animals do the same thing. If I come over here and I take over this village now or whatever, like this gonna be my pride. First thing I'm doing, killing the male boys, like killing the male babies.
Don't you even grow up with that attitude,
don't you even think about it, okay?
Bitch.
Right. You ain't my dad. You damn right I ain't your daddy. Fuck your fort, little nigga.
Fuck your fort.
You're not my dad.
Oh man, I hate that I laugh at this shit in public.
That's real.
I hate that I laugh at this stuff in public.
That's real though, right? Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard live on What's In It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. What's up, good people? Make sure you ascend into Muwakil's world every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Salim Muwakil, a.k.a. the Black Forrest Gump, right here on What's In It for the Black People Media.
WIFTBPM. Live from What's In It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown their ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown. Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
Some of y'all like, no, he didn't. We're back with Triggered with Instructor Mike. I am your host, Instructor Mike. Some of y'all like, Mike is in rare form. I've not seen this side. You have. You just haven't seen it. Who knows? Look, we've been talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and we've been talking about domestic relations with emergency order of protection and the Las Vegas. Maybe Vegas is in my future. I keep saying it, man. I don't know. Louisville Metro Police Department issuing a state of emergency for the police department, and just, putting things and plans in the way of the decision whether or not they're going to indict the officers in this. And I just don't see it happening. I see a no true bill. And I've been asking, are you ready for the rioting? Are you ready? Because for sure, Chicago's going up. Why? Because we got opportunists. Instead of just doing what they have to do to earn the money to be able to go take your ass downtown, right? I mean, after all, right, you done protested, remember that Michigan Avenue protest where you're going to go down and shut shit down on Black Friday, and then only to find out that they made their money back on Successful Saturday or Suck It Up Buttercup Sunday? Oh, shit. Now you mad. You shut down the doggone Dan Ryan with Father Flager, and the only people got paid, yeah, I said it, the only people who got paid was the correctional officers, the IDOT workers, the Chicago police officers, the Illinois State Troopers. They're the ones who got paid. Meanwhile, that wasn't enough. We got a fucking horse on the Dan Ryan yesterday. Yeehaw. Shouts out to the, what's his name? The cowboy? Forgot his name. I don't know what his name. Census. I know he's the census mascot. I forgot what his.
Somebody put it.
Somebody put it in. I don't want to say ghetto cowboy. That might not be his name, or it might be. Who knows? I don't know.
I can't type.
I don't know. He got arrested. I don't know if I don't know if he got. Well, I know what he got arrested for. Probably causing a roadway obstruction. That was brave of him. That was very brave. We don't want to make it about him, but that was brave. Anyway, are you ready for the riots? And he was out there during the last riot with the horse. Somebody thought they like, this motherfucker stole the police horse. The police horse has the checkers across his ears. That's how I knew it wasn't a police horse. Anywho, are you ready for the rioting? Are you ready? What are you ready to do? How many of you all are actually ready to do something different and see if it works? How many of you have been having those conversations with your children, right? You say he's still locked up? Damn. Dreadhead Cowboy, that's what his name is. Dreadhead Cowboy. He's still locked up. Yeah, the state police don't play. The state police does not play. Did an internship with them in my undergrad. I always knew about the state police, obviously on cases, worked, hand in hand with them, stuff like that. It's different when you're in the actual seat, of the car. I've never been a trooper or anything like that. But, in the internship, you learn a little bit more. Dreadhead Cowboy. And I saw some of his videos. Seemed to be a upstanding guy, pretty upstanding guy.
Adam?
Yeah, Adam Hollingsworth. Yeah. And he said he did that for the children, that things need to change. I don't know if that was the thing to do it, but it definitely got attention. Now, what attention is it going to do? Damn. I know. It's something. It's something. And is this going to bring cost to the children? Because that is a conversation. That's the basis of the conversations that I've been having here. Now, the question is asked, why did the state police lock him up versus CPD? Okay, that's a great question, Tiger. The state police locked him up because while the highway passes through the city of Chicago, it's called concurrent jurisdiction. City of Chicago has secondary jurisdiction on the E-way, but the Illinois State Police, because the state roads are maintained by the state, they maintain primary jurisdiction. This is why when you have accidents on the E-way, Chicago Fire Department is going to respond regardless because the state doesn't have a fire department. They have a state fire marshal's office, so they can respond. But City of Chicago can only respond in the support of what the state police has original jurisdiction and primary jurisdiction over. So that's why they responded. But did he, what did he get arrested of? Probably traffic infraction. Equestrians do not belong on the state highway. In fact, pedestrians don't belong on the state highway, and it's a violation of the Illinois Vehicle Code 625 ILCS 5 to be on that roadway, if anything, without a permit, and it has to be sanctioned. If you think about the Dan Ryan shutdown, Father Flager had to get the permission of the Illinois State Police, District Chicago, and the governor's office, primarily the governor's office, to even be able to shut down any portions of the highway, because you're talking about the legal flow of commerce and transportation. You don't want to interfere with that, because who also has primary jurisdiction is the United States Department of Transportation. They also have primary jurisdiction because it is a major thoroughfare. It's a major passageway, a major artery, I-94. So and I heard their horse sustained some injuries. Because of horse is a horse, of course, but not if it's on I-94, of course. I don't know. It's whatever. I'm not a rapper or a rhymer, whatever. But are you ready for the rioting? What are you doing? Business owners, what are you doing? What are you preparing for? I'm tired of us having to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild after the rebuild. And rebuild again with the rebuilds of the rebuilds. Because some of y'all just got the money from the government, hopefully through proper, protocol or whatnot. But damn, what are we ready to do? We got to have an honest conversation. I want us to have an honest conversation regarding this. Okay. All right, so we're going to talk about concealed carry. I'm going to get on that. And, of course, Instructor Marcus Darby, I know he's on here too. So, by the way, if you want to, just feel free to answer any questions in the comments, stuff like that. We all are greater together when we work together. So, concealed carry. For those of you all interested in concealed carry, you need to take a 16-hour course. 16-hour course in concealed carry, learning the things that you need to learn so that you are able to defend yourself in the event shit hits the fan, okay? But also, like I've been talking about all this time, you need to also, heal some of the things that's within you that may give you the motivations to put yourself in areas where things could go wrong. Proxemics is everything. Everything. If I am not in the area to take that punch, I'm not going to have to worry about a deadly force encounter or a use of force encounter because I'm not in the area to take that punch. Stay the hell out that area if you can. Can't get shot if I'm not in the effective distance or the maximum effective distance of that projectile being shot in my direction. That's the part that needs to be addressed. That doesn't get addressed. Okay? So, concealed carry, take a 16-hour course. You need to also, make sure you're 21 years of age, a resident of the state of Illinois. That's the only way you're going to be able to get Illinois concealed carry. Make sure that you, again, after going through the course, make sure that you have a valid state ID or driver's license. Make sure, let me see. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to read that again. Make sure that you have, not been a person who was convicted of domestic violence. We were talking about that before, okay? And that's why I'm saying this stuff is important. Look, if the relationship gets froggy, I'd rather you leave and save yourself to be able to protect yourself than to look. Love is wonderful. It is absolutely beautiful. But shit, it can also be blind too. You could be blind on yourself from love too. So, make sure that you don't have any convictions of domestic battery or anything like that. She's going to use my inside behavior. You need your concealed carry. Dawn, yeah. Shouts out to Dawn Millhouse with the Book of Dawn every morning from, I believe, 9 to 11. 9 to 11. Yeah, hope I'm saying that right. Yeah. So after you go through that concealed carry course and after you apply for that, the cost of it is $153.58. Now, you don't need to have your FOID or firearm owner's identification card to be able to take the class, okay? You just need to get your butt in the doggone class, okay? And when you pick an instructor, make sure that you pick an instructor who has no problem pissing you off if you fucking up. You heard me say that. I'm going to say it again, right? You got some instructors who got 5-star reviews, like they're all 5 stars. You mean to tell me everybody you taught needed to have a gun? Shit, no. And I need to be bold enough to tell you that you don't need one because I may need to save you from yourself. I'm serious. I got stories. There's time that I had. Hey, Angela. Shouts out to Angela Kirkpatrick. Yeah, I had to say her name. There's times that I had one situation where I'm sitting here dealing with a young lady who was in front of me and said that the only reason why I want to get this is because I want to kill my boyfriend. I don't know what made her make that admission. And she said it in the most wonderful light. And I encourage people to be themselves in my classes because I have no litmus test, in essence, no pre-screening process, unlike police training. I have no pre-screening process to pre-screen whether or not a person has the mental capacity to be able to handle a firearm. Well, you know what happened from then. I had to, calmly and nicely tell her, I can't certify you. Why can't I certify you? Because your mind is not in the right place to even, granted, there's some other issues that's there, but your mind's not in the right place. And you are not going to get a certification and a license with my name on it, go out and do that thing. And then all these people in this class, if something happens, now I got to sit here and say, well, shit, she did say she was going to kill her boyfriend. But I said, maybe it won't happen today. Yeah, that's professional liability. I don't have time for that. Okay. So make sure you go to an instructor who's going to really challenge you. And there are your paper instructors, but then there are your professional instructors. Paper instructors, somebody just knows how to use a gun. They went to a place, got a certificate and said, hey, I'm a firearms instructor. Went and got the same thing that I got, plastered across a shirt and said, hey, come to me. I can teach you how to pew. Well, it's more than just learning how to pew. It's actually learning, and teaching you the science of, ballistics and teaching you what firearms do and, perhaps maybe even pissing you off for, something that, you need help in. Okay. Because, it's just like losing weight. You're not going to lose it if you just sit there and the instructor or the trainer pacifies you. Okay. So go to an instructor who's going to challenge your mind. Not just me. I'm one of those instructors. I don't care about a review. Fuck a review. I care about your life. I care about this is a life or death course, but if you give me a review, hey, thumbs up. But if the best that you got when I piss you off is a 1-star review and I help save your life and someone else's, I'll take that. That's 5 stars to me. Okay. After you go through that course, okay, and you get your license, don't let that 16 hours be the only training you get. That's 16 hours. Even if you went through my slightly labor-intensive, edge-sweating, lace front pull-off, I got to put it back on again because he made me go through some shit I didn't expect, right? Even if you go through that course, that's still enough to get you killed. You heard what I said. That's just enough to get you killed. You need to get more training. You need to make sure you get the right kind of continuous training. We cement or put the foundation on the floor. You have to build the house in order for you to be able to live in this thing called being comfort in the mental home of the skills that you need to have to protect yourself. Okay. You need to make sure that you do those things. Okay. And if you ain't ready, I'm going to tell you you're not ready. But if you are and you're willing to challenge yourself, okay, we'll get you there. We'll get you there. Okay. We will get you there. After that, there's a whole host of other disqualifiers. If you have a criminal record, and that's fine, no judgments. I promise. I love you. Okay. If you have a criminal record, go to the Cabrini Green Legal Aid Office or the clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County, Dorothy Brown's office, or even just Google it. Look up expungements. Trust me, you ain't in that much of a doggone rush where you need to get where you need to apply for that concealed carry with a criminal record saying, it's 20 years. They'll never see it. Oh, they looking for that shit. Trust me, they are looking for it. Okay. So go get your record expunged. Go get it. If it can only be sealed and it's a felony, you can't get a gun because the government still sees a sealed record as a record that exists. Okay. But go get your record expunged. I'd rather you wait on the front end than trying to wait on the back end for you to get Alvin, damn it, for you to wait on the back end for you to get put under board review and then get denied your ability to be able to carry your firearm. Alvin, I really enjoy whooping somebody's ass, but the way it is now, I got to shoot. Yes, Alvin, you're right, because people can't take an ass whooping these days, right? General Colin Powell even said it best. Avoid having your ego so closely connected to your position that when your position falls, your ego falls with it. You know what else is a position? An ass whooping that I got. If I got my ass whooped and I lost, well, by God, that should have been the end of that game. Maybe I need to go back to the boxing ring and learn how to stick and move or get some footwork or do something. I mean, if all you doing is and that's that footwork, you need to apply that doggone footwork when you sitting here and trying to duck that punch. Duck. Why? I'm just saying, right? If that's the only footwork you got, go back to the drawing board. But that's not how people deal with shit now. As soon as you punch them in the face, they got two to your face that they want to deliver in your face with that 38 pistol from your granddad. He sat there and gave it to you and said, hey, baby girl, let me tell you something. Two to the face, one in the place. If that don't work, run. Look, some people can't even take an ass whooping. So you're right, Alvin. I get that to you. Some people can't take it. Okay. But get concealed carry, right? It levels the playing field. Shouts out to Chicago Guns Matter and Rhonda Ezell, who was a part. She was very instrumental. Thank you, Eddie Guns. You're right. Very instrumental in the case that struck down Chicago's handgun ban. Very instrumental in that. Go look up her Facebook page. Black advocate for the gun rights that we need. Also, Eddie Guns, you're right. See a baton instructor. I know some of y'all are like, Mike, that's all you talk about is the gun and you carry the gun. No, fool. I got a baton too. I got pepper spray too. Boy, I spray you before I shoot you. I'm just saying, look, you better have some other options. Not every situation is a gun situation. Sometimes you may need to use other options like pepper spray, like batons. Hell, so I often ask a question in my classes. Somebody kick in your back door, you and your family are at the house. You know, somebody kicks in your back door, no firearm in hand, can shoot or have to shoot or must shoot. And some people, or have to shoot or want to shoot. Some people are just answer, have to shoot. Okay, so what you gonna do next? You don't have a gun in hand. You don't have nothing. You forgot about all the dishes that you could throw, all the dish soap in the area you could take and spray it on the ground where you got a nice little slick that buys you time to be able to get to your firearm. It's like when people get guns, they just forget all the other options of what's around them and what they could use around them, including conflict resolution. Conflict resolution. See, that's the other part of the problem, too. If your instructor is not getting you to recognize the bullshit that you got going on within you that may cause you to have to use that gun when there were other options available, your instructor is failing you and does not have enough life equity to get you to understand that conflict resolution is the best weapon. The best weapon is the 6 inches between your brain, 6 inches between your ears, and that's your brain. After you here I am asking the damn question, how many of you all are prepared for the riots? How many of you all are prepared for the aftermath of a shooting? You can't make bond, but you're ready for a fucking lawsuit, right? You ready for the family of that person that you shot and killed to come after you? You ready for that? You ready to move to Houston? That's where everybody moves when they run. I'm just saying, shit. Go to Texas, right? Right? So I'm just saying. How many of you are ready for the aftermath of a shooting? After that shooting, then what? We're going to talk about that when we come back.
WIFTBPM.
I was going to ask you, so growing up, did you ever have an old racist family in your neighborhood? Did you have one live next to you or one down the street? Just somebody's house that you know on the block, you didn't want to go nowhere near that house. The neighbor who was directly behind us had a real problem coming outside, seeing my white mother and my black father.
We got us the gun line.
This dude built an 8-foot fence, more like 10 foot.
They put up the Huck Finn joint.
Exactly. That shit looked like a castle. You know, my dad, he's a big guy, football player guy. My dad guy who walks over there.
Old school
and
black.
He's like, yo, I don't appreciate these apples in my yard. He's like, motherfucker, we don't even have an apple tree. These are your apples.
You like apples?
Your kids are throwing apples over here. Okay, there's that little space, but there's still a fence. So they're right there looking at each other.
Tell them about the gun line, boss.
And I said something like, yeah, Dad. And that dude said, shut up, you little monkey. Leroy stuck his hand over the fence.
You're gonna die, clown!
Grabbed dude by the neck.
Run.
And proceeded to pull him halfway over this fence. Like,
Finish him.
Mrs. Wheeler comes running out. Oh, Leroy, don't do that. It's not worth it. Blah, blah, blah. My dad was getting ready to kill this dude. And within 6 months, that guy moved away.
Don't cross the gun line, boss.
Right, the gun line, boss.
Chicago Famous, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on What's in It for the Black People Media.
When you need vibrant, colorful gear that offers high-performance material that keeps you cool, call Agent Huff Custom Gear. Let us take your expressions and create something new for your everyday wear, your bedroom, or bath. For all your needs, we offer custom sublimation, silkscreen, vinyl, and embroidery. You can reach us on all things social at Superhero Huff. www.superherohuff.com or 630-476-9191.
WIFTBPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio.
And so, my fellow Americans, I have a dream.
You're listening to Trigger.
You want to crown him? Then crown her ass. I ain't scared of you, mother.
The one and only
Mike Brown. Mike Brown.
My calculations are correct.
Let's begin.
That's right. We are back. We are back with Trigger with Instructor Mike. Don't forget, you got the bigs coming up. I believe they're coming up next. Okay. If you want great sports talk radio, come on into the bigs. Great interviews. You got Chicago Famous with Mike Love and Diz. Wonderful Chicago legends in the radio industry. Okay. voice is iconic. You can't listen to Mike Love and not know, and Diz and not know it's them. Okay, just like that crazy Howard McGee, and the, and the other ones, right? So you got I Said What I Said with Herb Howard and Tucson Warner. Great intellectual conversation with Salim Muwakil. What's in it for the Black People Media? Don't forget to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, hit those stars. That helps support this great content. You need to support the people that support you. Okay. So in this, let's wrap it up, man. Let's wrap it up. Okay. It's 12:44 Tuesday, September 22nd. Temperature is 73 degrees outside, partly cloudy with a 30% chance of showers. No, it's not raining. I don't know. I'm just practicing. All right. So are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Concealed carry. I want you all to be able to protect yourselves. One of the things that troubled me as a former cop responding to cases of domestic violence, responding to cases of homicides, is when you had a person who was otherwise capable of protecting themselves and they didn't. That's troubling. That's why when the concealed carry law was passed, man, I was one of the first ones to jump on the opportunity to help citizens be able to protect themselves. You have the power. We all have the power to take back our communities. And then taking back our communities doesn't necessarily mean that we have to slap the guys out there on the corner we have to approach things differently at first. At first. We have to approach things a little bit differently. Begin to have those honest conversations, and it starts with you parents. I'm telling you, you parents with your children and the admissions that you make. Yep. They're going to be some hard admissions. They're going to suck because all this time you've been living a lie. You've been telling them, shit to make your image look good when it ain't been the truth. So it's going to be some hard admissions. But if we're going to ever reach these younger people in your 20s, so we can start giving them a chance at life so they can start making better decisions. You can focus on the police all you want to. How many years of focusing on the police has that been occurring since, in Chicago, at least, in the wake of the Laquan McDonald shooting in 2014? And here we are some 6 years later, and please tell me what has changed. Now you see more body cameras. Now they got more tasers. What they fucking do? The homicide rate is still the same. It's still the same. Insanity. Repeating the same action and expecting a different outcome. It's got to change. And so after those admissions, we got to start looking at the opportunities that we have, the opportunities that we can produce within our own community, right? Maybe some of the resources that are already there you're not seeing because A, you're not using them as resources, and B, they're resources, but they're not going to be a resource until you ask. I've often said this before. How many churches we got on every corner? How many of them open their doors except when the ATM is open? Because the Ben's payments got to be made, right? So the first love offering got to cover the card note. Well, why is it when the kids have nothing to do, they can't come to the church? I remember the time where there was an influx of kids going downtown, and the mayor was upset about it. I don't know if it was Lightfoot or Rahm, but in any event, I think it was Rahm. Yeah, upset about it. Well, how did the kids get downtown? They had to come past certain church. They had to come past certain places. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it, controversial as that may be. 39th in Indiana, you got a mega church. How many programs do they have in there for the community? That's right, I said it. One of the largest churches in the area. I don't need to say Apostolic Church of God. I know what they do. Shouts out to Bishop, I believe it's Byron Brazier. Shouts out to his father, Arthur M. Brazier. I know what they do. What about these other churches? You got churches on doggone every corner in the community. Why are they not hubs for counseling? All that talk about mental health centers closing down. How do you have all these people with life equity, life lessons, and a building where they can teach it in, and the shit ain't open except choir rehearsal to hear your horrible song in A flat that Kirk Franklin did, but you singing it all wrong? Come on now. Come on. We got to do better. And one of the things that I listened to Mace Jackson's show in the morning, and he said something in his recording, and I believe that it seems to be that there is a problem where we are faced with the trouble, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but when we're faced with the troubles of holding our black elected officials responsible and accountable, well, it's not just them. It's the other people in our communities too. The pastors who make the money off of your hard-earned work. The little from your check that you give in the belief that a glorious something is going to come in the afterlife that you don't even know is going to occur. All for the glory and the riches on this earth that you support with your hard-earned check. The counseling centers that we have in our communities, some who have closed down because you aren't bold enough to admit that you need counseling. Some of the programs that we've had in our community, I hear on one end that it was defunded. Well, it's easy to defund something that is not attended. It's easy to defund it. It's easy to shift those funds to the Hispanic and to the white communities in more numbers. When your son is in the basement playing Fortnite instead of out there playing at night. Oh shit, can't play at night in our communities. You get your ass killed. How about that? We're not dealing with that. But you worried about what the fuck is going on at 3510 South Michigan Avenue. When your ass can't even stand on Michigan Avenue without worrying about getting your ass shot. Come on, man. And yes, they do need to be addressed. I'm not saying that. But damn it, we need to have a conversation that's honest on both sides. And until we have that, we're going to continue to have the same problems that we're going to have, except you're going to be mad at it. Martin Johnson going to run to the, shouts out to the crime chaser. Martin Johnson going to run to the scene and film your death. I'm going to talk about what you could have did differently on my social media platform. And AR Leak is going to make money off of patching up your body with clay putty. And somebody going to make money at the repass, and the sign daddy going to make money on your t-shirts. Shouts out to Lil Bop and them. And then Mount Hope's going to make money on putting your body in a doggone grave. Only for a Joshua Beals of sorts to drive into Mount Greenwood neighborhood, get into an argument with a firefighter and a doggone police officer, lose his life because he wasn't supposed to have that gun in his possession, and you're going to take your ass to Mount Greenwood and talk about racism and bypass all the other shit that could have prevented this shit from even happening. And why you worried about a doggone 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Trump don't even know your damn name. But you ain't worried about the Trump cards with the deck that you've been issued in this life. You worried about a Donald John Trump. Trump he ain't thinking about you. O'Connor and Sklerowitz ain't thinking about you. They're too busy worried about checking their own bag. Too worried about their stocks and their bonds and things crashing while you ain't paying attention to your crashing ass household because of the lie you trying to maintain. Come on now. We can do better. Don't tell me about the victimization of our people when we come from fucking kings and queens. We got people who fought and died to give us the right of access of the book that you don't even take a look. Those people that marched in Selma on that doggone... Boy, I'm not thinking about him. I'm not saying his name. He ain't worth it. You got people that marched in Selma, Alabama. Knew they were walking into an ass whooping. They knew they were going to get, and they took that for you. So you could sit your ass down and complain about some shit. No, you are not your grandparents. They tried when death was palatable, when it was real. You are not your grandparents if all you do is sit there and fucking complain. Why do I have to convince you you need to protect yourself? Why do I have to convince you you need to take the school system serious? If you are faithful and just over the little, then room will be made so you can have more. But you ain't even faithful and just over your little, but you somehow want to be a motherfucking CEO when you ain't even a good janitor. You can only talk this way on internet radio. It'd have been a lot of bleeps. I'm telling you. And I'm not saying don't be concerned. I'm not saying turn the blind eye. I'm not saying that. And if you think that's the narrative, you don't know me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we got to look inside first. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But we need to address what's on the inside of us first. You're expecting somebody else to have more love than the love you have for yourself, and that's part of the doggone problem. That's part of the problem. Alvin E. Norton said the police beat up John Lewis trying to get into the courthouse so he can vote. And how many of you sit down and you don't even vote? Okay, we can talk about voting all day. Screw that. Screw that. Let's talk about the representatives we still keep in office who don't do anything for us. Let's talk about those representatives who year after year and decade after decade was a part of the degradation of the very protection that we needed in the community, but we couldn't protect ourselves. It wasn't until a Supreme Court case that forced the issue that made us the last state in the union to be able to protect ourselves. And you kept electing them and voting them in office because Bobby Rush, ooh, he coming for you. Ooh, that boy can sing. As long as they can fuck your emotions, they got you in the body because they own you in the mind. No wonder you think you're more oppressed than you are. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it best. It was one of his last speeches as he was getting ready to leave and depart this earth. You are not a slave, so you keep blaming the white man. It's not the white man's fault. There's time where it is, but it's not the white man's fault now you're not a slave. You want to keep blaming him for the things that's your responsibility. And you think white people care. Fuck it, if you want to lay your problems at my feet, go right the fuck ahead. I'm not in your community killing you, that's you. Well, black on black crime is a thing that's a label because you got people that kill people by proximity. Save that fucking shit. None of that ever comforted a mother. When I was at the homicide, when I was at a scene of a person's death and I had to make that notification to a mother who lost her son, I can't sit here and tell her, well, you know what? Instead of it being Demetrius, who they call Lil Tip down the way, I'm going to tell you about this white man. Hey, baby, that white man didn't kill my son. That little knuckle down the way did. And you better arrest his ass. If you haven't experienced death, miss me on that shit. I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. We got to do better. We're going to do better. Or die. This is Instructor Mike and you've been trained. Next Thursday, this Thursday coming up, what's in it for the Black People Media Network? Triggered. I'm going to trigger you again with some new shit. And for myself and Sonia Escobar, the wonderful musical conductor who's been hanging out. Sonia, you got to come in some more on this shit. Because you should see her in the background. She's like, yes! Yes!
I'm trying to be
Fuck
quiet.
You too. You're good. Oh, man. Shouts out to Mace Jackson, man. None of this stuff would have been possible, at least not for this network, without him and his vision. So shouts out to him. Make sure you tune into the, oh, my God. Let's not even go on there, Patah. Shouts out to him and what's in it for the Black People Media Network. Make sure that you tune into Mace Jackson Morning Show every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., as well as other great content. I am out. I will see you Thursday.
WIFTBPM.